Welcome back. So looking at markets across Asia, it's still red, but not as bleak as, when the day started. For instance, Japan is down about 2.6%. Hong Kong's down about 1.7%. Cuts are still there. Mainland Chinese markets are lower by about 0.3%. Let's pull up the implied open to see where we could start. It was down 150 points last we checked. Now it's down 206 points. So, yeah, strapping up for what could be another slightly rough day. Let's also talk about, of course, the individual stocks that we need to keep our eye on. And we have our team joining in for exactly that. Nigel, specifically looking out for Shyam Metallics. What's the news here?
Well, that's right. Shyam Metallics has come out with their quarterly update. Normally, it's not a big mover. Yesterday, keep in mind, the stock ended at the high point of the day as well. But there are a couple of positive signs out there. So that's why I'm going with green. Stainless steel volumes were up by close to around 13%. So that's pretty good. Aluminium foil is very small in terms of on a small base as well, more or less flattish. We had specialty alloys that was up by close to around 14%, which is encouraging. Carbon steel, that includes, the TMT bars, includes billets as well, more or less flattish, mildly lower on a year-on-year basis. While pellet volumes as well were up by close to around 28%. So it appears more green than red. So that's why going with green on Shyam Metallics. But let's hop across to Vivek. He's here to tell us about IRB Infra. Morning, Vivek.
Good morning. Well, IRB Infra, the company has gone ahead and given the toll collection revenue for the company as well as the private InvIT that it operates. Along with that, it's also given the FY25 toll revenue update. So March 2025 toll collections at 556 crore, which is almost a 16% uptick compared on a year-on-year basis. Now remember, FY25 toll revenue for the company at 6,360 crore, which is almost a 23% jump on a year-on-year basis. And what has aided this? Number one, there has been a few assets that the company has added. Along with that, remember, there was a toll collection hike in terms of the prices that has also aided this toll collection, or the tariff revision was received from 3rd June 2024. So on the back of that, IRB Infra, good improvement as far as toll collections are concerned. Expect a green in today's trading session.
Okay, that's IRB Infra. It's going to be in focus. Got that. We've got Abhishek joining in to talk about Home First Finance as well as HUDCO. Tell us the news, Abhishek.
Well, sources tell CNBC-TV18 that Home First Finance has launched a QIP. So the base deal size is about 1,000 crore, which can be upsized to about 1,250 crores. The indicative price is about 968 to 988 per share, which is at a very small discount of 0 to 2% to yesterday's closing price, and that's a good fact to see over there. Now, equity dilution is about 14.3% of pre-issue capital. BRLM are Motilal Oswal, Kotak Mahindra, as well as SBI Capital. Now, calculation shows that the net worth will increase by 52% to about 3,658 crore. Book value will increase by almost 33% to about 355.3 per share. And if they raise 1,250 crore, their CRAR, that is capital adequacy ratio, can increase to 47 to 50% range versus 33% right now. So it will be a good thing that they are raising money. It's a free money which can be used to, business growth or anything. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for that. Let's actually quickly run you through some more stocks with news flow. Winnie is here with details. Winnie, morning.
Good morning. So let's start with Senco Gold Q4 update. That's come in a decent one from the company. 23% revenue growth in Q4, SSSG growth of 18.4%. Higher gold prices and wedding season is something that drove the growth for the company this quarter. Diamond jewelry growth, that was around 34% for the company in this quarter. Overall, FY25, the revenue came at around a growth of 19.4%, and diamond jewelry saw a growth of 14.6% as well. So we're going with the green for Senco Gold. Now, Concord Biotech, that's the other one in focus. We're expecting green here as well. They've received a US FDA approval for its ANDA. This is a drug which is used for multiple sclerosis treatment. Now, this drug has a good market size, very unique drug that comes in from the company as well. A US market size around $402 million, while in terms of the global front, it's a $908 million market size. This is according to the data points that we have coming in. So interesting there, and green expected here. Symphony, we are expecting green here. Why? Now the company is actually looking to divest its shareholding and monetize privatize its Australia as well as the Mexico business. So value unlocking possibility coming in over there. In the last few quarters, they've been facing issues in both the subsidiaries of the company. Currency fluctuations were some of these impacts that were coming in, and so it does make sense in terms of value unlocking for the company. Other than that, the China subsidiary of the company, GSK, they are going to be selling some part of their IPR to Mexico, and for that, and they will receive some money, and that will be paid to Symphony as an inter-company transaction, which is to pay off the loan. So again, on that front also, they'll be receiving some cash. So that is something interesting for Symphony, and green is expected here.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Vinny. Well, let's go back to Abhishek. He's here to tell us about HUDCO. Abhishek?
Well, Nigel, Finance Ministry has issued notification with respect to bond issuances by HUDCO after 1st of April 2025. So, Finance Ministry has issued notification that HUDCO's bonds are to be redeemed after 5 years. So, it's a good factor that long-term money will be available for HUDCO. Finance Ministry also says that HUDCO to use proceeds only for infra projects that can be serviced out of the project revenue. So, the debt side has to be serviced out of the project revenue alone, and HUDCO cannot depend on state governments for service of debts. So HUDCO has been allowed to issue capital gain bonds under Section 54 EC for infrastructure financing, which augurs well for this lender as the cost of money will be, on the lower side, as well as the fact that liquidity will be available more for HUDCO. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Got it, Abhishek. Thanks for that. Back to Vinny then. Phoenix Mills and I think even Signature Global, they all came out with their Q4 updates, Vinny?
Yes, absolutely. Both the companies have come out with their updates. Phoenix Mills, a decent, good update that's coming from the company. Obviously, three segments, right? The retail side and the consumption, which is the mall segment, that's a good operational performance this time as well. Came in at around 3,262 crores, which was a growth of around 15% in Q4. Now, for FY25, when you're looking at it in terms of the retail segment, that's a growth of 21% for this whole year over FY24. In terms of occupancies coming in for the commercial side of the business and hotels business as well. So occupancy in the operational commercial side of the asset, that was at around 66% in March 2025. Now, for FY25, when you're looking at it in terms of St. Regis performance, a good occupancy rate of 92%, which is a growth over just 88% in the same quarter last year. And Courtyard Marriott in Agra also has seen a good occupancy rate this time, almost in line with last year. So interesting to watch out for Phoenix Mills. Green expected here. Signature Global, in-line numbers that have come in. So we're expecting a slight bit of a green on this front. Pre-sales, obviously for FY25, have come in at 10,290 crores, which is about the guidance of 10,000 crores. While in terms of collection, that was a bit of a miss. So mixed bag, and that's why largely in line overall. But that collection was a miss in terms of the guidance that are given of 6,000 crores. It's come in at 4,380 crores in FY25. So that is something that we're watching out for. Other than that, for the quarter, pre-sales were quite good. Seeing a growth also in terms of a quarter-on-quarter basis. A bit of an issue on that front, actually. I beg your pardon on that. We're seeing YOY decline of 61% and a quarter-on-quarter basis decline of 42%. So keep an eye out on that.
All right. Okay, Vinny, thank you very much for the details of there. So those are some of the stocks that we'll keep on our radar. Manisha is joining in as always now for a roundup of the commodity market action. Manisha, good morning. So it was up and then it was finally down all over the place as those tariffs kick in today.
Oh, well, absolutely. But it's mostly been down, and we've seen nearly 4% of a cut come in the early Asian markets right now, and it's trading around $57 a barrel for the U.S. crude prices and 60 just about holding for Brent crude. This is a 4-year lows for both of these varieties, and with the kind of decline that we are dealing with right now, it is 21% down in the last 1 week itself. Well, the investors are pricing an increasing likelihood of a recession. The escalating trade war between U.S. and China is a reason. The U.S. will impose 104% tariff on China starting today, and that really seems to be impacting a lot. The reason that we haven't seen a further decline is because the US dollar index also has declined ahead of that imminent 104% tariff coming in picture today. China says, well, the country will fight till the end. So this doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon, and that is where the markets are reeling from. Apart from that, the U.S. and Iran also will set to begin talks on nuclear program. You don't know what's going to happen from there, so that's another thing that Street is taking cues from. But if you look at Citi, Bank of America, UBS, and Goldman Sachs, everybody has cut their forecast for crude oil prices in this year and the next as well. Goldman Sachs has been the latest report. It says $58 by the end of this year and $51 in 2026. I mean, that is the kind of numbers now that the brokerages are working with.
Wow, $51 on crude. That's on NYMEX, that forecast, Manisha?
That's for U.S. crude, yes, U.S.
crude. All right, got it. Dramatic moves in numbers over there. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's quickly recap our list of stocks to watch. The ones that have positive news flow around them are Phoenix Mills, Signature Global, Shyam Metallics, IRB Infra, Home First Finance, HUDCO, Senco, Gold, Concord, Biotech, and Symphony. We have a neutral view on crude sensitives, and just keep in mind that Concord Biotech, the news is positive, but overall, let's not forget the US president is threatening to impose tariffs on pharma as well. So that could be an overarching overhang. Let's take a quick break, come back on the other side, and we'll get chatting with the management of transformers and rectifiers. We'll talk about their fourth quarter performance.